I'll get started with my topic at hand. We're talking about synergy creation between the client and the studio aesthetic, something that I am deeply passionate about. I feel like you cannot have a successful project if there is no give and take, that understanding that you share with your client. So I think to start off, I'll directly jump into, how do you get started with a project? Do you even select your client? Do you let your client select you? How does that really happen? So I think the most important part about this synergy creation is choose the right partner. If you are in that place in time where you have the privilege of sort of collaborating with the clients that already sort of know a little bit about your work, that sort of filters out the kind of people or the kind of expectation that you're already building in them for the kind of project that you can deliver. So that's one of, I think, the key points. What is synergy exactly about? Any studio. So now we're talking about Purple Backyard. Purple Backyard is all about understated, minimalism, decluttered interiors. So my ideology is really set, right? But for my project to look unique, I need to sort of be partnering, collabing with my client. And my client who comes to me is, at the point when he or she comes to me, they have a lot of ideas bubbling already. They have their own personality. They have these ideas of the Pinterest that they have already seen. So let's say that they have this entire story going on in their head. So these two put together is going to help us create this aesthetic synergy. So how does one achieve it? And I can tell you a few key aspects to hold in mind before we jump into exactly the 5 points I've boiled it down to. So bear in mind that I don't think a client needs to have all the answers. In fact, the client needs to come to you with a problem. And how do you decode it? With an attitude that this is a journey of question and answers. Creating synergy with anybody is a journey, and a journey of give and take, a journey of question and answers, getting to know the person, and being patient. The other aspect is, as designers, I think it's our duty to keep making things visual. I cannot even stress upon this topic more than, like my experience has been that I've ranted that, oh, the building is going to be like this, the room is going to be like this, the bed is going to be like that. But the minute I sort of show them a visual render, something tactile, something that they can touch and feel, all of a sudden I realized that I had to talk lesser and just sort of show them something to touch, feel, and interact with. Empathy. I think listen to your client, listen to what they are talking about. It may not be the most right take, it may not be technically sound, but create a sense of, or a space where they feel safe talking to you, voicing their opinion and you sort of reacting to it. And ultimately you could go ahead, do what you had to and what you want to do as a vision with them, but at least make them feel like you're listening. And that, I think, is a very, very important part of any interior designer, architect's personality when they're on a project. So with these 3 points in mind, let's jump into our first way of creating this synergy. So the first point would be, we call this first, after the onboarding of a client is done and we get started on a project and the layouts are drawn, we do this little thing called a workshop. A workshop is nothing but sort of, making sure we put references together. I'll just jump into, So a workshop is nothing but we put references together from varied different design styles and showcase it, to the client and get them to react. It's not really, difficult reacting to something that you see on screen, right? You could be like, I might be like, oh, this is monochromatic, this is neoclassical, blah, blah, blah. But the client is actually going to react to, Kumpal, you know what, I don't like the black, I like the gold, I like that detail, I don't like this. And the more they sort of, I actually jumped on to the second slide, but yeah, so the more they react, the more they tell you, you as a designer, you as a person who's creating their home, their space, are receptive, are listening, noting things down. And this sort of leads to, you take the feedback, you filter it down, regroup, and reshare. And you'll be surprised that because you showed them these references, you filtered it down, you've listened, now you have a board which is more close to what they would have liked. And a lot of times I've realized that a client comes to us and will be like, listen, I don't like colors. I like this, I don't like that. But after the workshop, they realize, oh no, they actually like color. Or maybe they like pastels, or maybe they like art that's color. So it's also a journey of self-discovery for the client and us discovering what the project could really look like. And then there you have it, the 3D. So this helps us bring a 3D, a look to the project that we could then work with. So I think the first and foremost part is the workshop. Then you jump into what's the first thing that you would want to do after the designs are done. Decode the layout, because before the AI came in or the virtual reality came in, how would we go on site and sort of get to know what are the proportions, what are the sizes, how are you going to feel about the bed on site, the side table on site, or the console on site. We just did a simple exercise, mark everything on site and ask your client to walk around it. The more they walk around it, the more they sort of get to know the proportions, they sort of feel a little more connected with their space, and there'll be more feedback. When there's more feedback, there's collaboration. And where there's collaboration, again, there is a space where the client feels safe, that, hey, you know what, I can talk to her. I can actually get my ideas through. And the more that happens, you keep listening to the client, you realize that, okay, you exactly know how the furniture size, shape, the structure, size, shape should look like. The third, this has been one of the most important things on our projects. Even if the design is approved, even if the sizes and the proportions are approved, it is really important for the client, especially in India, we feel, for the touch and feel. We've always been people who sort of like to sort of feel the fabric, feel the stone, feel the tile, feel the quality. And then we come to an area where we have trust on the material, on the person who's executing it, who's going to get this done on site. So I feel like touch and feel, using different visual aids, different techniques, different materials to sort of just convey what you're going to be using as a material, what you're going to be using as a hardware, what are you going to use to sort of paint the wall with, could help you, again, build that trust, build that synergy with the client. Keeping the client informed. For sure, there are ways that you could email them, you could help them with project management tools, but also doing these, detailed site visits, furniture visits, taking them there, showing them, interacting with them, asking them their feedback. You would have possibly built the best space, but it doesn't hurt to take your client's opinion in, when you're doing that site visit, because trust me, they're going to be like, wow, this person is a professional, knows what they are doing, but they still have that humbleness in them to sort of ask, get to know what I really think of where this space is going to be. Because let's face it, these spaces are your clients' aspired spaces, be it their residential spaces, holiday homes, commercial spaces, but this is something that they've been dreaming about. So you've got to sort of treat it with that empathy. Then the last And the most important point for us has been that build something which is timeless. Don't build something for today, build something for the future and educate your client about that. While making choices, while taking their opinion into consideration, also keep educating, also keep sharing your, wisdom on what this product is going to look like in the future, why you should do something, why you shouldn't just give into a trend. And then you will end up creating something that's more timeless, and the client is going to remember you for a long, long time because you build them something that lasted a while and they weren't really bored that soon. In a generation that's, just sort of using fast fashion, fast everything, I think we should build spaces that are for keeps, which talk about sustainability, which also talk about, just celebrating the classics. I think they were done for a reason. So I think we've covered 5 points. What does the workshop look like? So the workshop is the most important part. On-site walkthroughs with detailed furniture markings, touch and feel being the third part. Fourth, keep your client informed. Fifth, long-term aesthetic preferences, something that you can advocate. The fifth, honestly, could be something that is close to your heart, something that you want to achieve with your projects in the long run. These are a few examples of how we achieved synergies with our clients. So these are like, for example, this first project is Emerald Sky. It's a 2,200 square feet property on the 73rd floor in a high-rise in Bombay. We got a call from this client in Delhi. They wanted to build a holiday home in Bombay, unheard. And this was in lockdown. And they said that, we want a white house, but we want it with, like, say, green accents and nothing more. And they said, Kumpal, we like the design style that you guys follow. They said all of this. Did we not do the workshop? Did we not do the touch and feel? We did each and every aspect. The house then turned out to be what it was. You see the whites, you see the classics, you see the greens, but you also see hints of different colors. Because I realized, even though the client was in their 70s, they were really, the lady of the house was really bold in the kind of selections and choices that she had. If I were to, without asking her, take those decisions, I guess I would have been a little judgmental and I would have done a few old style patterns, a few old prints. But because she was so enthusiastic on selection visits and she would be like, no, 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 I want something bold, I want something different. I want something classic, but I want something different and bold. So we have a house which is classic, but it also has these modern touches. And, which is why this house in our, body of work stands out for us, that a beautiful synergy that culminated really well in the name of Emerald Sky project for us. Second is a penthouse in Bangalore. It's a 10,000 square feet penthouse in Bangalore for a couple in their 40s with a kid. This couple really had no time for us. They got on a Zoom call, they onboarded us and said that we do like your style, but we feel that, a lot of your projects look white. We don't know if we like color, but we definitely want to explore this synergy with you. Though, Kumpal, we won't be really available on site. We'll only be able to do this project on Zoom, and we're a Mumbai-based studio. So I was like, how does this happen? Like, we're not ever going to meet you. And trust me, this project went on for some 15 months. We met them, I think, 7 times. But we made sure those 7 times that we met them, all materials, all communications, everything was always on site. And they got to interact and we got to listen. So our main objective for all these visits were that just let's listen. Don't ask questions also, it's okay. Just listen to them. How are they reacting? How are they sort of, behaving around, say, bold prints, not so bold prints, quirky art, not so quirky art. Just sort of, engage with them at where they are. And we realized through the journey, and I think the client also had no clue that they had this whimsical side to them. They had this playful side to them. For example, if you see the living room, there is this painting at the back. That's actually their travel history that we tried to decode through this painting. And that painting happened on a text message. I pushed the client to sort of, tell me a little bit about what their journey has been. The text message came to me, I decoded it, sent it to the artist, and the artist actually made that. And the client was like, obviously flawed, because the house, while they did not have time, but we tried to create this synergy, and the synergy led into them having a space that was proudly them, even if they did not really have the time. And for us, on our portfolio, this project is something that stands out for, yes, it is tranquil, it is decluttered, but at the same time, it also helped us explore a lot of colors, patterns, something that I think we wouldn't have otherwise sort of engaged with this well. Again, different areas of the same house. If you look at the pool or the elevated stairway to the pool, it is like an atrium that we tried to make on the top floor. Again, sort of making it a more theatrical sort of a feel for the house. This house is in Bombay again. It's called Malbagh. We weren't really given a brief for this house. We, in fact, decoded the client's heritage, the client's lineage, where did the client come from, what the client's story was. We sort of put like a little storyboard for them together, and we realized they were from Rajasthan. So we thought that let's sort of infuse all your elements from Rajasthan, make them a little more modern. Let's have a collab between elements of Rajasthan and the elements that Purple Backyard really likes, which is, taking everything and making it more contemporary and taking it a little more global. So if you'll see, there are a lot of elements in the house. For example, starting with how you have a dining table and then how you have the console at the back, which is such a key aspect of any Rajasthani house, because you have buffets, you have people coming over, you want to display food. But sort of, if you look at the design, it has these cutouts which are more contemporary, more global in its nature. And yes, there we are. I think if we follow these steps, which we've been following for almost 11 years, we will have a project which is, nothing less of a great synergy between the client and the studio. And I also believe that while we are building these spaces, we don't have to forget having fun, because I keep telling my clients that, don't forget to have fun. It's your home. The joy cannot be taken out while you are interacting with us on costs, materials, and different finishes. And ultimately, it's design. It's not a math problem. So please have fun while decoding your client. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kumpal, for that wonderful presentation. May I request you to kindly take center stage so we can just fill a stage too. To do the honors, may I please invite over Mr. Saravan Kumar from Shuko and Pony to kindly join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love the design, the minimalistic pattern, and how it actually runs through the entire story background of the client and actually immersing it in the entire interior designing aspect, please give a big round of applause for Kumpal.